I mean, how good is that? This is a drill I call dollar bills for dollar bills. It was inspired by one of my very good friends in the world of golf. And I was playing against him and he hit a 6-iron in behind the hole from 185 to 6 feet to close me out for the day. And I looked down at the divot and it was this perfect dollar bill. And I said, man, that is pretty. And he looked at me and said, Chris, that's one thing you need to know about professional golf. It's dollar bills for dollar bills. And I was like, that's right. That's exactly right. So it's dollar bills for dollar bills. So today's drill is going to be a fun one. Most of you, when it comes to this game that we call golf, most of you would probably get a whole lot better at the game of golf if you just did exactly the opposite of what you're currently doing. Now, I don't mean that to be offensive, so don't get your panties in a ruffle, okay? What I want you to understand is that a lot of you are wired when it comes to this game to not want to push yourself to feel something exaggerated when it comes to change. And why is that? Well, because golf is a sport that's really hard. And the last thing in the world we want to do is be miserable and upset with ourselves and go out there and work on something that feels even more uncomfortable. I get that. But when it comes down to managing the club face and managing the hitting area, there's a pretty good chance that you're not doing the things that the best players in the world are doing. And so that's exactly where our focus is going to be today, is we're going to be focusing on a visual that we're going to create down here at impact, and we're going to feel just these little small inputs with our hands and arms with a couple of little checkpoints that you're going to take and turn into movement very quickly, and you're going to be able to start going out there and compressing the golf ball and making perfect divots every single time. So hopefully you guys are excited, and hopefully you guys are ready to go on this journey, because it's going to be a fun one. Who doesn't want to go out there and start compressing the golf ball? Who doesn't want to go out there and start hitting it better? Nobody. Everybody wants to hit it better. It's dollar bills for dollar bills. If you are brand new to the channel and you have not yet subscribed and turned on your notifications, please take a second and do so now. Leave us a like, leave us some comments as well. I'm excited to have you guys here. I'm excited to help you get better at the game of golf. We have a lot of good content coming out over the next year, and we are excited to continue to pass our message along. Okay, so as you can see, I've actually been working on this drill myself today, and I want to go ahead and talk to you about a couple things that you're going to need in order to get today's visual part of the process set up properly. And then we're going to start jumping into the drill. So one of the things that I like to have on me at all times when it comes to golf is Dr. Scholl's foot spray. This is super versatile stuff that you can use where you can spray it on the club face and get feedback from the club face. You can use it like I've done here to draw lines on the ground as reference points. You can use it if you're one of those people that has an athlete's foot problem. Well, you can spray your feet down after a round of golf or after a practice session, and your feet might be a happier place. No, I'm not sponsored by Dr. Scholl's foot spray. I just think that this is good stuff to have in the bag because it can do so much for you. The other thing that you want to have for this drill, because we're going to be inspired by the whole mantra of dollar bills to create dollar bills, is I have a dollar bill on the ground. In fact, I have a $20 bill on the ground because my mom was kind enough to give me my allowance for the week. Shout out, Mom. Now, if you're one of those people that doesn't have access to a dollar bill right now, or you live in a country where your $1 denominations are coins, simply get online, get onto Google, and type in what are the dimensions of a dollar bill, and go ahead and cut out some construction paper into that shape of a dollar bill and have that ready to rock and roll, because that's what we're going to be using in trying to visualize with these movements and trying to create as far as our divot pattern is concerned. You got it? Okay, good. Now, let me take you into the world of setup here. To create this sort of visual process, what I've done here is I've drawn a straight line back from you at home towards where I'm going to be hitting golf balls. This is going to be my ball position line. Okay, very important that you understand that. I have a golf ball that's on the ball position line with this $20 bill that's anchored to the front corner of it to the ground. Now, what we're going to be trying to do in this drill is we're going to be trying to get the club to land directly on the dollar bill and get it to stay on the dollar bill all the way through to the end. Now, going back to what I said at the open, it's important that you push yourself in the world of exaggeration. When I start walking you through these movements here in just a moment, you're going to see that I'm exaggerating these things very much so. I'm doing that on purpose. I'm creating a visual that I'm turning into an exaggerated feel so that I can continue to move the needle in the direction that I'm trying to move. Before I go forward in this process, if you have not yet seen the video that I talk about with grip or the video where I talk about low point control, I'm going to put those two links in the description below. Go watch those two videos and then come on back and you can finish up this video, because there's going to be some information about grip and the controlling of the low point from the lead shoulder that's going to be pertinent, and I'm going to be moving through that stuff very quickly today. The two focus points that we're going to be focusing on here today is going to have something to do with the grip and the lead shoulder. But what I want you to do to get yourself moving here is I want you to get yourself into what we call a light impact position. Now, what I mean by light impact position is that I don't want you going into a position where your hips are open 45 degrees and you've got any sort of lateral side bend. This is not a position that you can sustain a large quantity of reps in. So a light impact position, what I want you to do from a static address position, I want you to make sure that that ball position line is off of the logo on your chest. I want you to shift your hips over to your lead side. Okay, I want your hips open maybe 5 or 10 degrees. Try to keep your head back. Okay, and I want your shoulders to be nice and square, and I want you to have your normal grip on the club. Okay, so you're just gonna have about 80 to 90% of your weight on your lead foot. Your hips are gonna be open 5 to 10 degrees, and your shoulders are gonna be nice and square. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to pay very close attention to my grip. If you look at my trail hand, the V is right up towards my right shoulder. My lead hand V is up towards my right ear. Now, what I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to be trying to get a lot of forward shaft lean, an over-exaggerated amount. So when I shift my hips to my lead side, I'm actually going to take these V's from pointing at the right side of my body, and I'm going to get those V's pointed outside of my lead shoulder, okay, which is way too much forward shaft lean. Okay, so from my perspective looking down, not from yours at home, when I look down at my hands, I can see that this V and that V are outside my lead shoulder. Now, when you have more forward shaft lean like this, remember, the club face will want to open. So you're going to want to rotate the face to where it's perfectly square when it's at your golf ball address line, okay? Now, what we're going to do is we're going to make some little small swings back and forth, thinking about the club, or visualizing the club coming down on the dollar bill and staying down on it all the way through to the end. Very, very small, little concise reps. And we're gonna do that by focusing on our lead shoulder staying down and our V's staying outside of our lead shoulder. Okay, little small swings. Okay, it feels very weird. It feels like I'm dragging the handle. That right there is going to be the movement that I want you to get as connected to as humanly possible. For those of you that already have too much forward shaft lean, then you're gonna wanna stay away from that. We can pull that stuff back very quickly. But if you're one of those people that has a flip or a scoop, or you've got bad lead shoulder position, or you've got no ability to be able to take any sort of divot, then use those 2 checkpoints and start getting connected to that movement. Remember, what you wanna do is you wanna see the club in your brain, hit the dollar bill perfectly at the starting point, stay on there all the way to the end, and trying your best not to feel any sort of face rotation. Now, I know that that's a little bit irresponsible of me to say because the club face needs to rotate, otherwise you're gonna create gear effect, but I want you to have some command of what this club face is doing so that you're really connected to an exaggerated movement. Now, as I do these movements in this condensed format, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ramp up the speed pretty quickly. Our goal today when we hit golf shots is going to be hitting golf shots that are gonna be somewhere between 3/4 and full swing territory. When I make my last practice swing before I hit a golf shot, what I'm gonna be focusing on is still feeling the lead shoulder stay down and my V's staying outside of my lead shoulder, but I'm gonna try to reduce the tension levels as much as I possibly can so that the club will wanna start to release through that position. It'll wanna rotate and keep the ball from wanting to go way off towards right field. So how I want you to do this is I want you to take your setup, okay? Ball position should be off the logo on your chest, okay? Shift your hips over to your lead side. Okay, make sure your V's are outside your lead shoulder. Keep the lead shoulder down. Little small reps. My eyes are focused on the dollar bill. Focusing on it, staying down all the way to the end. Now I'm gonna come back to an address position and I'm gonna make some little small swings, feeling that same thing, okay? Okay, trying to get the club to come down on the dollar bill and stay down. Lead shoulder staying down, V staying outside my lead shoulder. Okay. Once I have a good feel for it, I'm gonna make one last practice swing. Okay. Then I'm gonna go ahead and hit a shot. Okay. Now, took a pretty decent divot there, and we can use this to evaluate. So my ball, I actually started the club down just a little bit too soon, so it was a little bit on the heavy side for me. So what that indicates to me is I either started to influence the club from the trail thumb or the right hand, right arm, or I didn't get my low point situated in the right spot before the hands and arms got down in front of me. That's again why I recommended those 2 videos in the first place. So you can use the divot pattern to know how you're doing in this process. Now, if you come down and you don't take a divot at all, then there's a chance that your lead shoulder didn't stay down, or you flipped it with your hands, or a little bit of both. So go back and focus. Lead shoulder down, V's outside the lead shoulder. Focus on those little small inputs, turn it into a feeling, and then go right back into full swing territory or three-quarter swing territory and hit a shot. This is a drill that's designed to create visual, exaggerated feels, and then put it back to movement. Let's do one more time for the home team. Again, my eyes are gonna be focused here. Ball position in the right spot. Shift my hips left. Lead shoulder's gonna be down, my shoulders are staying square. Trying to feel exaggerated, got it? Okay. Good. Really good contact there. So that was perfect. Sometimes little small, condensed, over-exaggerated movements can lead to a lot of good things. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed the drill. Hopefully you guys get some good success with this stuff. I love to take and simplify the way that you do things out there. A lot of times we become these really technical minded people that forget that we have to move. So having ball striking drills like this in your arsenal helps clear out the clutter, helps keep your brain from wandering, gets you focused on what impact is all about, and the sky's the limit. Let's get out there, let's play some good golf.